Well, if it falls off,
We're live.
Are we live now on YouTube? Okay. We're
His
about
butt
to go
is on
live.
YouTube.
We're about to
And
start the
his
show in
butt is
about
on YouTube.
2 minutes.
There you go.
Butts on YouTube. Okay, good, good,
Nice,
good.
and I just got the
Guys,
notice,
that
so
looks
it's working.
good. The flag looks good. Everything looks good. Okay, and Facebook, I'm almost ready. Everybody
what
get your
I'm-
seats?
What
I'll
I'm
run
doing
to
is
mine.
sharing, so if you're watching us on YouTube, please go to your Facebook site and share this as well. Just go to Chips,
Camera's
Butter, and
there.
Salsa Show.
Did you put that in
That
your
would be
chat?
awesome.
The camera's there.
Or put
Yeah.
this, or put this link on your Facebook page. That'd be great. Okay, so we got YouTube camera there and Facebook there.
If Facebook's ready to launch, when you guys are ready, tell me when.
All right, hang on 2 seconds. I'm just gonna,
What time do we have on the thing?
2 minutes.
6:58.
Okay.
and I've got 1 minute on my phone.
Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. I like
Someone's
being
got PC
I like
training,
the, I think I'm gonna be a producer or a technical
Oh, good.
guru, where I'm behind the scenes,
Right.
directing
You're the
everything.
next Armin.
Yeah, I wanna be behind the
Diane
scenes.
Carson Ortiz.
I'm a move from,
Ortiz Parsons. Yeah.
I'm gonna move from host to technical director of the show.
Second
in the
You
producer.
know you
background.
play both roles. Okay, I think we're just about ready.
Yes,
Everything's
ma'am.
good? On delay.
Andale. Okay, we're ready? I'm ready to go Facebook Live. We're going live now.
Okay, we are live.
Yep, we're live. Yep,
Yeah.
it's live.
Yep,
We're on.
Okay. Guess what? It's time for the Chips and Salsa Show. We gotta get our music, George. We'll play some Ruben Obed later too. That's good. Or
That's
somebody
right.
call my phone and it has the ringtone. Or this Latino's gonna vote for Trump. Hey, I'm Alice Lara. We're here every Thursday night at 7, and also
Don Jorge El Alaclan. I'm here.
we are here. We have a great show for you tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in. We got YouTube going on. We got Facebook Live broadcast. And please tell your friends, share this show so we get as many views as possible. I want to introduce who we have here today. Sid could not make it tonight. Sid de la Fuente from Conservative
Aww.
American Latino Organization that hopefully will be back next week. But we do have Macias.
Hola, everyone.
And also with us, our special guest tonight, our crew, College Republicans United. And we have with us the president, Joshua Bernard. Hello, Josh. He's back.
Yes.
Woo. And then also our,
The Vice Chairman of Republicans United. That's the parent organization of Crew.
and that's Rick Thomas.
Rick Thomas.
The snowman.
The
Yes.
snowman on Facebook.
All right, so we got lots to talk about. Do you want to get some announcements out of the way first, Ham?
Yeah, we lost a good friend, good patriot. He was a PC at LD19, John Johnson, and he was a ex-military in the Air Force, and he's been a PC for so long, and he passed away yesterday. So we send our condolences to Sophia Johnson, his daughter, and her family. They're going through a very sad period right now, and the Chips and Salsa and our crew sends our condolences to Sophia and her family, and may he rest in peace, and he's in God's hands now. And he served our country in the military, and God bless him for that. And he was a PC for many years, a precinct committeeman for LD19, and that's out there on the west side. And I knew him well. We all knew him well, and we send our condolences to Sophia Johnson and her family, and may he rest in peace.
Yeah, very sad, but yeah, rest in peace. And Sophia, our hearts go out to you. And you need to come do the show sometime too. We have lots to talk about. Okay, I also want to announce our good friend Terry Mendoza could not be here tonight either. And she is president of the RNHA, the Republican National Hispanic Assembly. And she wanted me to remind you guys that their next meeting is going to be at the AZGOP headquarters. And that's going to be Tuesday, March 26th. And 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. That's a social hour, man. You should come for that because I hear there's food at that time. Right?
Ooh.
Okay, good. good.
Food is always good. Food.
Republicans are all welcome. You don't have to be Latino to be there. And it has free professional bachata, merengue, salsa lessons. Woo!
My merengue. That was the first dance I learned when I was a kid, and as I grew up, merengue I was really
You were
good
hot?
at it. I was hot,
Woo!
and I just learned.
Are you giving the lessons?
No, but I could. I still know how to
Sizzling. There you go.
merengue.
Wow, and that's gonna be from 5:45 to 6:15 PM to burn off the enchiladas. Ooh, that means you're gonna have enchiladas. So all are welcome, and then 6:30 to 7:30 straight business. So please, if you can, again, that is March 26th on Tuesday, Republican National Hispanic Assembly, the RNHA. Terry Mendoza is awesome. She's the president, and I always like to tell the story. She's the one that when Nancy Pelosi was in town last year, Nancy Pelosi was addressing a bunch of people and was saying, you know, these rich Republicans are awful. And Terry Mendoza got in there and she said, how much money do you have? What about you, Nancy? And so she's my hero. Terry Mendoza is one of my heroes. Okay, good deal. Go ahead.
I have an announcement to inform our YouTube listeners and our Facebook listeners on mark your calendars for a big reinvigorated Tea Party patriotism rally versus socialism. And that's a rally to attend at the Civic Center Park in Gilbert on April the 15th. April the 15th, mark your calendars. It's going to have patriotic music, food trucks, display tents are going to be present. A good and fun time for all the patriots who gather to hear and then spread the message to be heard. Confirmed speakers at this early point, because there's going to be more speakers, include the Tea Party community founder Kevin Jackson, and I think he was on this program. Russell Pierce, which we all know, he's been on our show countless times. Sharon Slater and Bruce Goodman invited speakers. They've invited these speakers. They just need them to confirm. And I think the last I read, most of these have confirmed. Congressman Andy Biggs, Paul Gosart, David Swiker, Brandon Tatum, and he was here. Brandon is like is great speaker. Brandon Tatum of Turning Point USA, Anna Gaines, and many, many more. And I think the list is going to grow by the time this thing. It's again, it's April the 15th at the Civic Center in Gilbert on April the 15th on the Civic Center in Gilbert. So just look that up.
Does it have times yet? What time it starts?
Oh, I just happen to
There
have
you
a
go.
flyer.
There you go.
There it is.
Yeah, we got a flyer there.
All right, so it's patriotism over socialism rally. It starts at
There's a flyer.
6 p.m. So what a great way to end your tax day. Okay, go and hang out. George, are you gonna go?
I'm gonna try April
I'll be there.
the
Lydia's
15th.
gonna be there.
He wants to table.
And we're gonna try to all be there. We're gonna invite a bunch of Hispanics there because we have a Hispanic meeting coming up, and we're gonna announce it at that time. And that's we have our Hispanic meeting on the 26th of March. So April the 15th is down the road. So we'll definitely,
Yeah, we'll keep reminding you guys.
we'll keep reminding. In fact, next Thursday we'll remind you again. And then, let's see, we have another event, March the 15th. That's
tomorrow. Yeah.
well, this one's tomorrow, folks. So put it
Be
on your
there.
calendar.
That's really coming up fast.
10 to 11 a.m. It's a
Hours.
Freedom Friday ERA forum, Equal Rights Amendment agenda. Moderators Jessica Steed, Mormons for ERA.
Like this is pro ERA. I don't know if I'm.
Wait, they're bringing
I
the
don't
old
care
ERA
about
back?
that. Who gave that to you?
I don't know who just got this.
I don't know if you want to.
Yeah.
Time, George.
Equal Rights Amendment.
Who sent this to you?
Okay,
Well, this is Republican ERA Forum.
so
Who's
maybe.
Diane Post? Do you guys know who that is?
No. Who's bringing up
They-
the old equal rights?
That was actually a bill that was
Yeah.
talked about earlier
Yep.
this week. and it was
Right.
voted down.
Right, it was voted down. So I
Okay,
think this
let's
is all,
just ignore this
never
one.
mind.
Yeah.
Fake
I get
news.
these and I.
This is,
More
never
somehow
mind.
that propaganda slipped in
Okay,
there.
let's see what's this,
George.
George Soros, man.
Yeah.
Okay, this one I think you should read. This one is, you should read this one. It's about, they need volunteers for a boot,
Oh, the upcoming, there's actually a festival coming up,
And that's,
Saturday.
this
from
coming
1 to 6,
Saturday.
This coming Saturday, that the RNA Chain is gonna be, I guess supporting. It's over at the Stratus Event Center, 43rd Avenue and Indian School, and it's from 1 to 6. It's a festival.
They need volunteers
They
that
need
are
volunteers.
spending.
It's gonna be a fundraiser for the RNA Chain.
Yeah.
That's why.
So anybody that would like to
And it's free.
volunteer.
It's free. General admission.
What's that address again?
Over at 43rd Avenue and Indian School.
It's a
43rd
Colombian festival.
How long?
It's a Colombian festival, so there'll be some
There you
merengue and dancing. Yeah. Okay,
Good
I'm
music
already.
all the time.
So
Yeah.
if you need to, what's it called? Text RSVP. Oh, if you need to get contact information for volunteer, contact Monica at 516-423-0330.
And only call her if you want to volunteer.
So that's the point of contact with Monica.
Oh, okay, good deal.
So.
All right, all kinds of stuff going on. And, you know, if you are a Republican in the Maricopa County area, I recommend the Republican Briefs. Subscribe to that. There's all kinds of good information. You guys have something too. We'll talk to you in a little
Yes.
bit about
Yeah.
as well, because I know that you want to promote, because I think it's really cool. The little fundraiser they got going on. George talked about it last week too.
Oh, nice. Thanks.
So we're going to get started, I guess, with our show. Do we get any announcements for you?
We
Yeah,
have
that's
our
pretty
meeting
much
on
it.
the 26th.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We have the Hispanic meeting on
Yeah, I
the
talked about that
26th.
already.
Got that.
I get the whole thing on that.
So
All right.
we gotta be
Cool.
able to,
All right.
Interesting.
anybody.
All right, so we have a lot of issues going on, but what I want to do is, if some of you don't know who these guys are, and we've had them on our show before, I love having people, young people in here, because you guys are our future. You know, we're all getting older, dang it. You're not as old as us. He's still young.
I'm not getting older.
But George refuses to get old. He's going backwards. But the thing is, I believe the Republican Party is getting younger. I think we're getting more young people that are coming in, and that's why I like to have you guys on, because when we do, it reinvigorates me and gives me hope. So why don't you all take a few minutes, talk about your organization and what you're doing, talk about that fundraiser too, and then after you do that, then we'll get into the issues. How's that?
Yeah, sounds great.
Sure.
So, as you know, Josh is the current president. The club has been around now for about 1.5 years. I was the founder of the club, president last year. Josh here took over.
Yeah, I took over. So right now I'm the current president. So right now I'm overseeing the current club right now on campus. Rick's with RU with another pal of ours, Kevin DeKuyper. So they're over there building the other organization, building up on the more of the grassroots level around Arizona, not just located on the college campus side. So right now I'm focusing on the campus one. He's focusing on the outside, and we're just trying to build our org, recruit more younger people, bring in more speakers, bring in more grassroots social media consultants out there, trying to bring them out, bring them to crew, bring them to Arizona, put them on the map, especially now that we're in a, you know, our state is in a interesting situation coming up in 2020. So we need all the, you know, spotlight and work that we can bring into the state to win in 2020 and get the God Emperor back in the office again. So,
Because you know that there are conservatives at ASU. We do exist on campus, but what I've seen is we're often too timid to at least come out in public, in the open, and admit our conservatism. Fear of repercussions from the professors, from friends, from our peers. It's not really popular to be conservative on campus, but we do exist, and we do talk to them occasionally. Next week, we're going to be hosting Ashton Birdie, of the former college Republican president of Berkeley. She is now an Arizona local here. She's moved over here, and she's going to our meeting. She has a YouTube channel where she's 200,000 subscribers.
yeah, something like that.
So she's very popular. So we're trying to bring her energy back into our club.
Yeah, then later on we're going up to Flagstaff with Lauren Chen. So we had her here last year, so she wants to come out again, help expand. She likes to work with us, build on our event, and she likes what we're doing. So we're going to capitalize on that. So continuing to build, expand, not take, keep on expanding. Don't stop where where the buck is, and just push
Grow over
forward.
time.
Yeah, grow. Especially we got to fight. And 2020 is going to be a fight. There's no point in just staying down and saying no to the rhinos trying to say don't do this and that. It's like no, we got to win and we got to win now, or it could be too late. So.
And tell them about that fundraiser that's coming up.
So on March 30th at El Pollo Loco between 5 and 7
And
p.m.
Pollo, excuse me. No.
El pollo loco.
The deal is, if you come in with a flyer that we will post on Facebook, you show them that flyer, you order your meal, you eat it. 20% of those proceeds will go to our club as a fundraiser. So please bring your friends and family. Order a lot of food. Have leftovers for tomorrow. But yes, it's going to benefit our club. We really appreciate the opportunity they've given us for this fundraiser. So please bring your friends and family.
What's the address again?
It's in Mesa. It's in Tempe, Southern Tempe. It's the only one.
My neighborhood.
That's great. You guys, that was a good score. That's really, you can get a lot of money. It's one of my favorite places to eat. So I think that everybody should eat there that day. Like you say, go takeout.
Yeah.
I love their rice.
We will
I
post
love
it.
their rice and their
For lunch
chicken
dinner.
when they put the rice and the chicken together and the beans. Oh, it is to die for.
Oh
And
yeah.
I'm Puerto Rican, but I love El Pollo Loco,
Mhm.
and I would recommend it to anybody. And they use sanitary gloves when they're doing their chicken. If you actually watch the cooks, they're very, very clean. Most of the Pollo Loco facilities are clean facilities, and they.
Don't say most. All of them.
Well,
Most.
I know.
You don't want this guy to
The ones that I have been to, I could speak for, and all the ones that I have been to are clean.
Especially Tempe.
And,
Yeah.
and they always use the clear gloves while they're cooking the food. The chefs are fantastic, and the food smells delicious, and it tastes delicious. So I would recommend El Pollo Loco.
The food is great, so please do that and support your organizations that are doing great things. These guys are busy.
And this one's in
Man,
Tempe.
they're awesome.
We have no national organization funding us. We're all grassroots here. So please
Yeah.
support your local College Republicans United group.
And this one's
Yeah.
in Tempe, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Mhm.
And so keep reminding us, and you're always welcome to come here anytime on the show because we always
Thank
have
you for having us.
Yeah.
great
So
shows.
when's the date again?
It is March 30th
March the
between
30th.
5 and 7 p.m.
So we'll remind. We'll be
on next week.
Yeah, next week we'll remind you. We'll have the address and everything.
And you can
So-
always go to the Facebook site too. They've got a great
Our Facebook
site.
group, our website's going to have it. We'll give it to you to post on yours. So
Do.
thank
Great.
you.
Awesome. And I want to encourage you, what I was doing when the guys were talking is I was sharing the show on Facebook. So feel free to do that too. The more, the merrier. I'm going to try to also be monitoring our Facebook site because that way if you have questions, feel free to do that and weigh in here. So the big thing that I want to talk to you guys about, I don't know which we should go, the president first or the privilege first. Let's talk about the president first.
Yeah.
Because I think it's going to be a long time on that.
Oh yeah.
So today, we had 12 Republicans.
Ugh.
That,
Traitors.
Disappointing,
Ooh,
especially two of them.
Wow.
I was,
So,
I was
Lydia,
surprised about some
you're
of
the
this.
researcher. Explain what happened today. Bill.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm not familiar with the actual resolution, but the
There was a
vote-
resolution.
There was a resolution to rescind or to prevent the president's national emergency declaration on the border, which is a national crisis. We all been paying attention to what's happening at the border, U.S.-Mexico border. And we had 12 Republicans that sided with the Democrats in support of that resolution. And that pretty much is going to be vetoed by President Trump, thankfully. But it's very disappointing that the people that voted against it, two of them I thought were going to support it, was Rand Paul, Kentucky, and Mike Lee from Utah.
Those are the two
And-
big
and
surprises.
Mike
You're right.
Lee is a conservative Republican, I would have thought, and Rand Paul is a libertarian, and tends to vote against things that kind of augment the executive office. And I understand his principle, but he also needs to understand he's a Republican.
Let's be practical.
That's a
He
libertarian
needs
move.
to support the president's agenda. And the
Yeah.
other three, Susan Collins from Maine,
Ugh.
That one,
Murkowski from
that was
Alaska,
not a big surprise.
and I'm forgetting the third one.
I can't remember. Either.
Tom Tillis from North Carolina.
Yeah.
And see-
They're not conservative Republicans.
And see,
People
they're
call them
gonna-
rhinos, but they're moderate.
And they're gonna need a President Trump
Right.
in rallies to endorse them.
Elected.
And he is gonna skip some of those rallies.
Oh yeah, Joe Manchin's almost more conservative than
And
those
if he's
guys.
at a rally, he might not even mention them. And that is to their detriment because our president, Donald Trump, is gonna be president in 2020. And he's gonna be elected by a landslide. I'm predicting.
You
a
heard it
landslide.
here.
Place
And
it
thanks to our
He's got the
friend,
banner to prove it, right, George?
yep, thanks to
Ocasio.
AOC, she's a gift that keeps on giving.
And I stole this from a commercial that I heard, but they call her, instead of Ocasio-Cortez, Alexandria Occasional Cortez.
That's what I've heard.
Which is, I really like using that. So let's turn it to our young folk here and give us your take on what happened today, then. What do you think about
Well, you know
this?
what I noticed just being online? It's kind of sad that you have a lot of, I wouldn't say they were like the heaviest Trump supporters, but you can see where, they're trying to use the emergency declaration as a way of trying to, say, oh, Trump never had this power in the first place. It's like, no, there's been precedent for it. This is a national emergency. This is what the president was elected on. They keep saying it was a constitutional question. Well, no, because, if that was the case, we would have elected someone like Ted Cruz, who was, running on this whole constitutional only basis. Like, no, we have an issue. We have an issue on our border. There's a crisis. There's a, the wall needs to be built. It's not being built right now. The Democrats are obstructing it. And it's funny that we want to talk about it's not constitutional because the people that brought up this bill and got it through the House and into the Senate are the people that could care less about anything that's constitutional. And they're the ones trying to say, why aren't you being constitutional? They're trying to call us out, where they're the hypocrites who most of the time, everything they do isn't constitutional when they put through laws.
And I understand that argument, and I kind of agree with it to a point, but at the end of the day, you have to be practical, right? The Constitution is not a suicide pact. There are times where you have to do things for the country that might have to bend a few rules. The Democrats have no problem breaking the Constitution. They will lie, cheat their way to their goals and their objectives. Meanwhile, we'll surrender because it conflicts with our morality. And Lincoln was able to suspend habeas corpus. We had a suspension on some media rules during World War II. There's certain things that we would have to do in order to survive. And this is a survival situation that we're in. We're in a fundamental time in our history where in the next 20 years, you're not going to be able to recognize the country, especially with immigration, especially with the social justice movements, the way that our country is going. I feel like Donald Trump has really slowed a lot of that down, but he's not reversed anything yet.
He's gone on the offense, and the problem with the GOP for years, it's always just been on the defense. And the minute we go on the offense like this, putting in this national
Yeah, you're on the
emergency,
side pulling it back.
yeah, you have a lot of people pulling back. It's like, no, you can't be doing that. It's like, yes, if we don't want to end up like California, where your only choice is between Jerry Brown and Gavin Newsom, and that's your only choice, you got to put your foot down and say, yes, this is important, and this is what we're going with. We got to change our strategies. We got to change our tactics. We got to match tonnage for tonnage with the left, and we got to beat them at their own game. It's time for us to stand up and actually take a fight, like the president's been doing. That's how he got elected. He beat all those 16 candidates by being the outsider, going on the offense, putting immigration front and center where everyone else didn't want to touch it. And he said, this is what we're going to do. Forget this. We're in a war against the left right
You can't
now.
be timid anymore.
Yeah. You have to hit them hard.
Spoken like a true Republican warrior. Well, my thing is, the president is the commander-in-chief, and it is a national emergency down there. Those of us who live in the Southwest, I'm sure that you are like me on Facebook, and you spar back and forth people that are living on the East Coast and things, or they haven't lived in the Southwest for 30, 40 years, and they think it's the same. It's not. It's totally a changed thing. The other complaint, as I was listening to some talk radio on the way home, they're saying that the Congress is complaining, we have the power of the purse. Well, if you do have the power of the purse, why couldn't you defund Planned Parenthood?
Yeah.
You can't even
Yeah,
defund
2 years.
Planned Parenthood.
We had 2 years of Republicans
And they
controlling
couldn't find the
Congress.
wall. They couldn't
Yep.
find the money.
Oh, yeah.
Paul Ryan
Paul Ryan.
couldn't find the
Oh, yeah.
money. $10 billion out of a $1 trillion
We'll do it next time.
budget.
He did it twice.
They were able to give Amazon their tax cuts and get Mr. Bezos, who's censoring conservatives, everything he wanted, but for his own base and the constituents, oh, sorry guys, maybe next time.
And then the armchair Republicans that are defending it too, who have never done any kind of activism except from their their own home and their laptop. They're disgusting.
Yeah.
I mean, people are suffering at the border. Talk to any of the ranchers there where they have, property being destroyed by people crossing over. The drug trafficking, in Yuma is ridiculous. And we're not doing anything about it.
In Tijuana, the governor there and the mayor over there are saying it's a massive issue because in Mexico they're struggling to keep up with it. Yes, they're struggling.
Being bombarded with people. They don't even have enough resources to feed their own people.
Yeah. And that's why a lot of people, even the people of Mexico now, are starting to revolt against this because they're saying, why are you taking care of them instead of us? And we're suffering too.
There was a protest, I think, on Sunday or Monday of this week in the northern cities of Mexico, and there were conservative Mexicans out in the streets protesting. They want an end to Mexico's involvement with the UN migration plan. They want to close their northern and southern borders because they have illegal immigrants coming from Central America through their country. And also the drug trafficking. Mexico's government has done nothing really, or not enough, to stop the drug trade in northern Mexico.
People also have to understand it's not just people from Central America. You have people from other countries, from North Africa, from Bangladesh,
the Middle East,
funneling to the Central American countries and coming up through Mexico to get here.
It's very similar to
is scary.
It's similar to the migration issues that's going on in Europe right now, where now you're seeing the ramifications of it. That's why you look at France right now. They're rioting and they're having a massive political issue because it's hit that area so hard and people are just fed up with it.
Josh, are we looking at our future?
Yeah, you're starting to see parts of it right now in Europe. You're starting to see words that, the dynamics are shifting.
We're 15 years behind Europe in like everything.
Yeah, and it's hitting hard. It's similar to what we're seeing here with the caravans coming up and then the left trying to bring them in. And, you see a lot, when they come in, they're trashing towns in Mexico, disrespecting the people of Mexico, crime coming in and hurting those areas.
Overrunning the police.
Yeah. And a lot of people, not just here in America, but Mexico now, they're tired of it. They want order. It's like, they look at their government and say, you're supposed to be working for me, not the other way around. If you're taking care of them, especially in Mexico, you need to be taking care of your own citizens first. So.
Well, the rule of law has broken down.
Yeah.
And, we've seen it through the years. It's happened. And it must frustrate the heck out of you guys as younger people and, get ready to enter the workforce. And you see that and what's happening. So give me some things that your group is doing to combat this. Maybe what you tell others that are your age, how to become informed. Because to me, that's one of the problems that we have. I don't really think that people get what's going on out there. And I don't know how. I mean, I've been on Facebook. Come on down here and let's go to the border. Let's go check it out.
So we actually had one member, a new member, who had written to our group complaining about the liberal bias at ASU. She was tired of going into the office rooms where they would have like CNN playing or magazines from like the New York Times, like liberal publications, and there was nothing really conservative as an alternative for media. And so she spoke with the dean of students there, the dean of affairs, complaining about the situation, also with the state press. And their explanation was, well, you can go online and get those things, but on the campus, they were kind of shrugging it off. And she was asking, like, what can I do? And this is a question that we're often getting. What can conservatives do? Well, first and foremost, you cannot be a one-man army. You cannot take on the world by yourself. You have to network with other people. So, with Chips and Salsa or College Republicans United or any of these other groups, find them. Turning Point USA, find them. Group up with those people, right? And then bring in outsiders. So if you wanted something to change at ASU, get campus reform involved. Document everything that's going on. Record all the conversations that you're having with your professors. Take their syllabus. Take everything that you can and show the world what's going on. Then bring in the outside attention. Because if anything's going to change at ASU, you need money involved. You need media attention involved. And you need people behind you to speak up. So that's number one. Number two, don't be an idiot. Don't.
Wait, say that one again.
Don't be an idiot. Don't do something stupid. Because if you make a mistake, unlike the left, they make mistakes all the time and it's always glossed over by the press, right?
Yeah.
But if we make a mistake, CNN's going to put a camera on it and they're going to highlight it and then they're going to broad everyone with a broad stroke.
I run it for weeks.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
So you got to be careful, right? If you say something online and you get in trouble, it's going to come back to haunt you.
Yeah.
So it's really those two things, first and foremost.
I'm glad you brought that up because what I like to tell people is, we live in a public world now. So you might think that you're at a party somewhere or something and you're just talking to this person, but people have their phones on, their cameras, and whatever you say. And, I'm not saying don't say anything, but just be conscious of what you're saying, because you
You're
don't
held to
know
a different standard.
how it's
Right.
coming out, even if you're joking. I mean, it's awful. I don't like that
I mean,
because we're a free country, you know?
Look at Brett Kavanaugh.
Any type of out of the norm behavior that people perceive, they're gonna whip out those iPhones. You can be
Oh,
in a
yeah.
grocery store, convenience store, anywhere in public, and if you do something that is, seen out of the norm, you're gonna be on video.
Oh,
And you
yeah.
probably don't even expect that to happen.
Just like what they're doing to Tucker Carlson right now. You know.
Everything that's online is forever. And if you think that Facebook is not going to release things that you've done online, well, maybe not now, but in a couple of years, that will be an issue.
They will if you're conservative.
Yeah, especially
I
conservative.
mean, I'm just glad we didn't have Facebook when I was in college. Because people are young.
No, yeah.
People make mistakes at a
Things
young
happen.
My
age.
father did, I've heard stories. My father did things that if he had done today, he would have been arrested 7 times over. But that was the norm back then. But things have changed since then.
Right, and I'm not saying there were bad things or innocent things. It's just stuff like you say. It's not accepted today.
Microaggressions, right?
Even
Yeah.
a simple thing like, I'm of the age, you are probably too. Our parents, if my brothers got in trouble, they got a whipping.
Yeah.
They didn't get a beating. I'm not saying a beating. They got a spanking.
Soap in the mouth.
Today,
Well,
my dad, they probably tried to put my dad in jail. But my brothers will tell you, I'm glad he did because I deserved it. They deserved it, and he
Right.
kept him in line. Okay, so let's see. I do want to get into the subject about these celebrity parents. Oh my goodness. But before I do that, I don't want to forget because, George, it's already time for Laugh for Hope.
Not for,
You guys need to come to this. Okay, do you know what this is, Laugh for Hope?
no.
Life Choices Clinic, let me get this right. Yes, Life Choices Women's Clinics. Every year they have their big giant fundraiser and they call it Laugh for Hope. And what they do is they bring in some clean comedians, okay, and they have a big giant fundraiser. And they are funny. This will be my 3rd or 4th year going. And they are really top-notch, professional, funny comedians. And that's going to be happening. Let's see, it's comedy night. It happens on Friday, April 26th. And we'll probably have the representatives come. They come every year and talk to us about that. The doors open at 6 p.m. The show starts at 7 p.m. It's going to be a different location. This year it's at the Madison Center
Friday?
for the Arts. Friday, April 26th at 6 p.m. The doors open. The Madison Center for the Arts at 5601 North 16th Street. What Life Choices Women's Clinics does, if you're a mama that needs help, they have this really cool mobile clinic that they take places. And they do ultrasounds in there. Are you familiar with this organization?
I am not familiar with
Okay,
it.
you will be. Hopefully you can go to this with us. And it's a mobile clinic. They can do ultrasounds, examinations, and they help women like that, to have their babies. And they don't even just, okay, we're going to help you, let you go. They have follow through. Usually at these events, they've got the people that have benefited from it, the moms. Last year, the mom, I think she brought her baby with her. So it's a really great organization. So I hope you think about it. You can go to hopepHX.com to check it out. And we'll keep announcing this every week. You'll have information. And if you want to email them, you can do hopepHX@gmail.com. And maybe you guys can get involved with it and go. It's really a great organization. Okay, so now our next topic, which I called these guys last minute. I'm so glad you came. I thought, man, we got to have these guys on, George, right? So you've been watching the news, you have found out there are some pretty big celebrity stars
long
that
time,
have
too.
used their money
Oh yeah.
and influence to get their kiddies into college. And you know what? They weren't necessarily maybe the sharpest kids. And it's very interesting. So I thought, what better people to have on than our guys here. And I want to know what you thought about that. If you've been following the story, I'm sure you have. Maybe you have some thoughts about it.
Yeah. Well, for me, funny thing is, the one, especially the part, I think the kid that got in that they just got in, her name was like Olivia. She has like a YouTube channel already. So she has like 2 million followers on YouTube. So already you can see what it's. No. Before. So before this, she had a huge following. So she was partnering up with organization.
She's loving this.
Yeah, she was partnering up with businesses like with Sephora.
She goes by Olivia Jane.
Yeah, Olivia Jane. So I've seen her every now and then on YouTube because you can't watch YouTube and get past some of these guys. So yeah, and before that, I remember a while back. I think this was like on I don't know if you guys have heard of him, like a Keemstar video. He does like some drama alert videos, and I think it was there. I heard like back then she already had like a controversy where she said, "Oh, I just came to school just to party." And go to USC game day games, and that's it.
I don't really care for school.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I'm not gonna knock that. I love USC football and game day, college game day, and everything like every other person. I love it. Yeah, trust me. But whenever you go to college, you typically go in there to get an education. You should be. I mean,
is she majoring in anything except YouTube?
Liberal arts?
No, she's probably not going to do that.
She
originally got in on a athletic scholarship. I think it was for a rowing, USC rowing. So that's where the scandal is.
It wasn't her.
It was a photoshopped picture of her. She wasn't even the.
You see what you see
about that?
Yeah,
about that.
And that's
So what happens? I'm going to USC, and I get denied because she's first in line above me. So they pick her over me, and I pass the test. I take the test. I pass it, but she gets picked over me because she has that influence.
Yeah.
Right.
Is that fair?
No,
that's very unfair.
You're
to
a
me.
student that worked hard to get a high GPA, that did the extracurricular activities that you're supposed to, that actually took the SATs, that actually studied and did everything right, got the transcripts and everything, and you got denied and someone else didn't, that had everything done for them because of mommy and daddy's money. So
Possibly.
I'd be angry.
Oh yeah, well that's the thing, possibly because USC is one of those competitive schools because especially at USC, it has one of the best film. It has one of the best film schools in America.
Arts.
The drama. Well, that's what my sister's in. She's in that program. It took a lot to get in there. And my older sister went to USC, and they're at USC. Everyone tries to get in there. It's the George Lucas, Steven Spielberg School of art and drama and film studies. It's very
prestigious
and everything. My dad's like an executive producer, works in media. He says that because all these guys say that it's one of those areas that you want to get in. And that's why when she was able to hop over the other people that worked hard to get there, that's when you see, it was an issue. It's like, no, you can't be doing that, especially when you're vibing someone. Because I think they said she had her SAT score was like 200 or 300 points below the national average.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So you can say, if we're basing on merit, she didn't study or work as hard as the other people that did apply, or didn't have the means to slap over $500,000 and
But
to
it
get
gets
in.
worse than that. They actually fake disabilities to get extra time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and what?
Well, look at Elizabeth Warren. She lied about being Native American in order to get that affirmative action points.
Oh, she's arguing against those people.
Yeah, all of a sudden
against those
But
actresses.
she's just as guilty.
But she's just as guilty for lying to get in there.
Do you know what makes it even worse today? So she was on the yacht of a USC school executive during her spring break. It's like this week is spring break.
Elizabeth Warren.
No, it wasn't her. No, this was the USC YouTuber chick, the spoiled brat, and she was on the yacht of a USC alumni on the school board, or he's on the USC school board, and he owns a yacht. And I think it's actually the school yacht, the USC school yacht. Yeah, well, it's obviously his or the schools, but even if it's his, it's like, how the hell are you buying this on a school salary? For a school salary, it's like, is this why my tuition and everyone's tuition is so high? I know at USC it's like $65,000 a year to go.
Yeah.
So
In-state?
yeah. Oh, it's a private school, so it's across the board.
So same price.
Yeah. So that's why it's like, geez, man. And you look at this, like people work so hard to do this, and this is the attitude.
She was on the yacht when her mother was being arrested.
Yeah.
Lori Laughlin's the mom.
Oh yeah.
Which that surprised me too,
Full
because
House.
I would think that she'd be a pretty conservative gal.
You would think.
Well, just because of conservatism mean that you're not going to cut corners, though.
She's married to a fashion
You
designer.
think maybe Obama's daughters might have gotten?
Or look at David Hogg. we all knew that
Chelsea?
his
Oh,
points
they're
were
bringing
below
that up.
average.
Yeah,
But
yeah, they're bringing that up now with David Hogg because he had low score averages. I mean, very low.
because he's
And
a gun activist.
Yeah, and he got accepted to
Harvard.
Harvard, and now yeah, and that's why everyone's asking. It's like, then what the heck is this then? If his scores are way below.
Didn't he get into it with Laura Ingraham and he
Yeah.
was complaining that he had a 4.0 GPA?
Yeah, and he didn't. He didn't have any. He couldn't get into the
Where's the
normal
media
school.
not
She got in
finding
trouble
out
for no
about
reason.
that when he was in the media?
Well, he can't.
Found out
Well, no, because
The news,
fake
CNN's
news,
not
yeah,
gonna do it.
they're going to defend their choir board for this. So they're not going to affect them. They're like, oh no, well, they'll
He
sit
was
there
on
and
the
defend
right
them.
side of the debate.
Yeah.
That's why.
They're
Well,
also
we should have found out about it too.
I didn't know
well,
that.
someone like David Hogg, they're gonna prop up, give him a degree, do everything that they can, put him in the national spotlight, then they're gonna run for office. So
Yeah.
this is going now and possibly hurt his chances to run for Congress and possibly something else.
Well,
down
that
the line.
media exposure had to have helped him get into Harvard. I mean, they
Oh, it did.
like
Oh, no
the
doubt, sure.
activism, the going against the conservative talk radio hosts like Laura Ingraham, high profile issue.
Oh yeah,
But
They
under
love it.
They love
horrible
that.
circumstances.
it's an investment for
Well,
them.
you know, I mean, I went to college. You guys been to college. It's just not right. I mean, what happened in the really old days? You could only not very many people went to school. Do you think that's part of the problem? Anybody and everybody can go. So this is, I mean, this is outrageous amounts of money.
Yeah.
It is.
Now, my husband and I were talking about this, and we're saying a lot of the universities, colleges, they depend on the
Yes.
donations.
Oh, yeah.
What's frustrating
They
is that
depend on
they get huge tax dollars, not just endowments through alumni associations, but tax dollars, massive amounts of tax grant money for
Oh,
low
yeah.
income, for scholarships. I mean, they get so much money every year, and yet they charge these massive tuition rates to students.
Raise it.
Where does all that money go?
Yeah.
Is it go
Oh,
to low
parking
income
lots,
schools?
right?
Michael-
Every time I go on
My
campus, they're building a
Michael
parking lot.
Crow, for the last 3 years, he's the president of ASU, invited Bill, Hillary, and Chelsea $500,000 each time. That's where our money's going.
Wow.
Yeah.
$500,000
Oh yeah.
per person.
I mean, these schools need to be investigated at the federal level.
Oh yeah. And the
How
problem
do they get
is,
these multi-billion-dollar endowments and
Well,
still get tax dollars.
And also, and I hear this is starting too. So if you're a person who has a lot of money and you've been donating a lot of money, a lot of people are saying, you know what? No, because the education is not where it should be, and this cannot be helping as well either.
Yeah.
But who suffers? The kids that really do want
Our tuition
People
goes
who
up.
do wanna
Right.
That's what happens.
And these curriculums also need to be examined too. I mean, you're hearing about courses like queer studies, transgender
Yeah.
studies, lesbian, Latina studies.
Yeah.
What is going on to these academic studies? What happened
Well, you
to?
get degrees in them.
Well,
I
and
studied
they're
public
receiving Pell
policy.
Grants too for those.
Say again?
They're receiving Pell
Pell
Grants, so like they're actually getting like money to go to college to get a liberal arts degree that's not going to get them a job. And the whole point of going to college is to find a career, right? Where you can potentially,
Thought so.
make money and
Potentially
pay
get a job.
taxes. But none of these people are going to actually find work afterwards, and they're going to be burdened with hundreds of thousands of
That's
dollars
also one of the
of debt.
issues.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
coming up.
So these guys are in trouble, right? I mean, this
Should
is
be.
not a good
Yeah.
thing.
This
So what do you
center
think
is
should
in
happen to them?
trouble.
Well, most likely what you're probably going to see is it's probably just going to make an example of this group. I'm pretty sure later on they may find other people, but this time they'll probably give them like a slap on the wrist. And plus, usually with this stuff, especially with all that money and endowment stuff, they're well connected. So I'm sure a lot of them may just get just a little slap on the wrist. So yeah, we'll probably just kick your kid out of school.
They don't want to go to court.
You
with
know.
us.
Pay a massive fine. Do some community service probably at most, and that's it.
Like,
What
if
do you think should happen?
Well, it should happen if, like, you and I had done this. They would definitely go after us.
Yeah,
They probably would have us pay back all the money first and foremost, be kicked out of the college, and then we'd have like a record. So if I were to go apply to a community college, I would still have that as a record, and possibly wouldn't be accepted for that either. But because these people are uber wealthy, they have the money to pay for the lawyers, and the universities don't want to go through the next 5-10 years
Yeah.
fighting over this. So
And-
they'll probably let them go.
And
over
in
it.
a society based on merit, that shouldn't be the standard. It
Yeah.
has to be, if you have the grades, if you have the smarts, you know what you're doing, that should be what counts on where you go and
Used
how
to
you
be
get
that
it.
way. A long
Yeah.
time ago.
Oh yeah.
I
Even when
think, I think that a lawyer, like the one lawyer that's defending those Christian students that were
In Kentucky.
in Kentucky,
Mhm.
I think they should get a good lawyer and go a class action suit against all the universities that are participated and start suing the crap out of them.
Well,
Okay.
it's happening. There are a few students. There's actually 2 Stanford students
Yeah, but
Suing
that are
they
suing
should
that
get
were
a
rejected
lawyer.
from USC than
Oh,
in
yeah.
Stanford now.
Oh yeah.
But because it should be based on meritocracy.
Yeah.
But we've come to a point in society where elitism, prestige, power, I want my kid to go to the best school, even if I have to bribe someone to get them in there, is now something to be proud of.
There was a gentleman on, I think he was on Tucker Carlson last night, and I thought he was making a very good point because actually, these parents that are doing this, they're not doing their kids a favor.
They're not.
Yeah.
They're promoting the entitlement
Yeah.
mentality.
Mhm.
Like you said, the gal had her YouTube channel.
Well,
Yeah.
she was bragging about it.
Yeah, she was bragging about how
I got my
obvious.
It's a big
stuff. I
joke.
got my stuff in my
She-
dorm.
she
I
loved the
love
attention.
going to the sports games,
Yeah.
but I'm not really into school.
Oh yeah, she said she bragged about not going to class and ditching it and trying to bribe like the professor saying, "All right, can I just get out of this?" Yeah, and it's like, and people were hammering it on her. And then she had to make like a little, an apology video when she was like in bed, just not even
She
caring.
spends more money
And
than
it was like-
They're saying once you get into university level, that you don't fail. You can't get a D. The professors won't fail you. Is that true?
Well, it depends on certain schools. I know Ivy League schools, that's definitely the
That's what I
case
heard, too.
because I know in Ivy League, like a lot of them don't really try to give grades. Like I know at Harvard, from what I heard from my sister,
That's
is
why I call it.
if you get anything like below a C or at a C, they don't even record it. So that it's
Is
so
that to keep
prestigious.
their-
Yeah, they keep it so
Everybody's
high.
smart who comes
But
here.
that's how Harvard's kind of just known to be
But-
notorious for
But
that.
it's those, it's
you know.
those three. I call them hype. Harvard,
Yeah.
Yale, and Princeton. That's hype.
Oh yeah.
They
Well, that
don't
was.
do grade inflation.
Oh yeah. Well, that was
They don't
funny.
want to embarrass the student.
Oh yeah.
That's not
They
right.
had someone, Megan McCain was on The View the other day defending, allowing, rich, successful parents and allowing the schools just to take their kid just because of how well known their kids are. Because she was
well,
trying,
no.
yeah, because she tried to say, oh, well, the Naval Academy did the same for my grandfather, my father, and it's like,
And my-
yeah,
my brother.
my
She
brother.
actually went
Yeah,
back
she
to
went there and
visit
was
that.
trying to say that, and it's like, yeah, that's the freaking problem. And
that's
also, your father, he finished dead last in the Naval Academy,
Well, you
and it's
have
like,
to remember
come on.
that John McCain, senator, his father and his
Yeah.
grand
Admirals.
were admirals.
Yeah.
So when he was
But
prisoner
I'm
of
amazed
war,
that she would actually bring
he
that
was-
story back
Yeah.
because people get very upset about that.
Oh yeah,
They don't like that.
oh yeah, it's like, no, you worked there to get there. It's like, dude, it's like, that doesn't teach you anything. It just shows you have a sense of entitlement.
Their
So she had that
legacy.
show.
Yeah,
because of
that's what they
last name.
said, legacy.
legacy, their legacy
Yeah.
students.
And that's why, you saw the same thing at, it's almost notorious for the Ivy League schools to do this because, that's what was the argument with George W. Bush because, everyone knew back then,
Well, people
He
forget
wasn't
that these Ivy
the
League
Harvard guy.
schools, they have their own societies for networking. People
Yeah.
like to drop conspiracies like the Skull and Bones, like they do
Yeah.
weird
Oh, that's
things,
Fraternity.
Yeah.
fraternities.
but it makes sense.
But they're high profile, powerful social networks
Oh, yeah.
for the elites, for
Oh,
John Kerry, for Lanny Davis. They all know each other.
Oh,
And
yeah.
when they get into positions of power, they all help each other.
Yeah.
Right.
Because they all go
They
to
all
the
have the secret handshake.
Yeah.
They know each other's rings and everything.
I don't know if I'll go that far, but
Well,
there
let's
is
keep-
that
Well,
camaraderie.
you guys have that, don't you?
The secret
Yeah,
Yeah, we do.
handshakes.
Oh, yeah, I know.
I shouldn't say that. Someone's gonna believe it.
Well, we
Oh,
have
yeah.
Republican United pins too that we gave you
Oh,
too.
and
So.
I forgot I meant
I
to wear
need to
mine
get one
today.
of those.
Oh,
You need to join.
Yeah.
Yeah, you.
I'll
By the way, you
remember.
can join. It's only $10. It was $10.
$10 and you're good forever. We might increase it in the future, so the first few members that join us will have that discount, but it's only $10.
Grandfathered in, right?
What's that?
We have it grandfathered in.
Right.
Yeah.
Your grandfather did. You're considered a founding member for the first 100 people.
Nice, thanks. And I'm sorry, I apologize for the noise. Someone has a loud car out there. So, yeah, if you want to. Oh, they're
Yeah,
doing.
right.
Sounds like they're stopping here. Maybe they're coming to see us.
Oh,
You
yeah.
heard us.
Santiva.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
Uh-oh,
the-
we're in trouble now.
It's
So, so you say probably nothing much is going to happen. Do you know anybody like this personally that's happened? in your
I mean,
experience?
there's a lot of people that people that got denied going to certain schools. I know it's been a big deal, especially when it comes to admissions rates, because you've had those cases where they said, especially when it comes to affirmative action, it's always been those, well, how much can you look at? The admissions process has always been like a scrutinized process of elimination. They never really tell you why you were denied, and that's kind of the problem because people are like, well, I had a higher grade and this and that, and this person had
Why
more
don't they
activities
do
than they
that?
did.
What's the problem with saying? Why can't they tell you?
It's more because they don't. It's either that they don't want to rock the boat, or that there are policies like that they do. Do
They don't want to
things
be
based on
scrutinized. If
discrimination. Yeah,
everyone knew what they were doing
You
in the
want the
back
truth to
channels.
come out.
Yeah.
Exactly. Then
Yeah.
we had something to
You've seen a lot of Asian Americans and Asian
Discriminated
students. That's going. I think that's going to the Supreme Court now,
Yeah, they're
and now they're hitting it on that because, especially concerning Harvard over there.
Yeah, they're
so.
considered overrepresented by the student body for the population share to the country. And even though they have, 20 points versus the next person, they really want the different kind of diversity than Asians.
Yeah.
Wow.
Do you think we'll ever return back a little bit more how it was in the old days? I mean, you had to have a high grade point average, and you're laughing.
That's
I guess
what
that
we
means
want. That's
Yeah.
what we want. Are we going to get it? Most likely not, unless something changes with it very quickly. But I mean, look at Trump, right? I think he's really slowed down the left wing propaganda that we got from Obama. But will he get reelected? Hopefully. But I don't see it reversing anytime soon.
I think it's maybe generational. I mean, unless you get you.
Mhm.
I don't want to stereotype
Gen Z.
all millennials because there's conservatives here,
Mhm.
I've given up
millennials.
on
I'm Gen X. I'm Gen X, and I'm a little older. This is
we are the baby
baby
boomers.
boomers, so you got 3 generations here. Don't be laughing. So, there's an upcoming generation after millennials with Gen Z. Is that?
Yeah, the Zoomer
The Zoomer
generation.
So,
generation.
I mean, you have these younger people. Not all of them are
They are more
stereotyped.
conservative.
They're conservative, but they also have that entitlement mentality with some of them. Mostly on the left, we know who they are, who think that I should get these things because I'm, a young, hip, young person that's got money and clout.
Because I'm me.
Because I'm me, and me is great. I'm special. Until that mentality changes for the younger people, I don't know if it's going to change as far as
Depends on how they're
acceptability.
raised.
Well, parents have a great to do it, but also social media.
Yeah.
And I don't want to condemn social media because there's great things about it.
Certainly.
But that selfie, that me first mentality, it's got to change or it's got to take a dramatic direction.
One of your members, who's our incredible intern, who's really busy, he hasn't been here for a while. Hopefully he'll come back. But Armin, and Armin had some really good insight because he said that he thinks that the younger people haven't had enough life experience, and I think there was a lot of wisdom to that because it's true.
Right.
When George and I grew up, we started babysitting at a young age. We had to make our own money. Usually just dad worked. So, if you wanted stuff, then you had to learn how to work and how to do different things like that. And you guys probably came from similar backgrounds where you could at least appreciate that. And if you don't ever have to worry about anything and it's all just handed to you, then how can you learn? That's why for these kids that are just getting it all handed to them, everything, it's really bad for them.
Well, like Armin grew up in former Yugoslavia, so he's the product of the genocide that took on that place. I'm paying for my own tuition. I don't have anyone paying my way through college. Josh, you're in the same situation.
Yeah.
You have very humble.
Well, I
upbringings.
transferred I went to community college for a few years, then transferred so I could save on paying back any of the loans.
But we know a lot of people who, their parents are paying their way. They get the car paid for. They get their housing paid for. The only thing they actually spend money on is their own alcohol. And they're partying, they're drinking, and that's the livelihood of college. They're not really learning anything. They're just there to party.
I had work study when I went to undergrad. I had to work for my tuition. I mean, I got some grant money and some scholarship money for my grades, but I had to work study.
And you knew that if you screwed up, that you would have to pay for it.
Exactly.
And when it's your money, you have the investment in it. I saved up money, my babysitting money, and I had, but back then, tuition was like $250 a semester.
Oh, yeah.
And your books were $75, $100. Oh my God, that's a lot of money. But if you, you had a plan, you made a plan. And so I love having these guys on because it renews my
I
faith
love having
in young people.
being here. So thank
And
you.
I want you guys to come on anytime that you'd like. Just pop in. I don't care. You don't have to be invited. And we had another. Steve is here. Steve Palmer. He's not really here. That was, the noise that was out there. That was his motorcycle. He's all dressed up in his motorcycle gear. So salute. Thank you. Okay, we got 9 minutes left. You want anything that you want to talk about in particular? What do you guys want to talk about? It's the 8 minutes. Excuse me. We're counting down here.
Well, I think the one thing I can say is one thing I saw interesting last week during my spring break. I watched a podcast on Joe Rogan and Andrew Yang. So,
The Yang Gang.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
talk
the
about
Yang
that. We were talking about that before the show.
Yeah. So I would say Andrew Yang's more or less a 21st century version of almost like a Williams Jennings Bryant type of Democrat. He's not too far to the left. He's not, not with the insane
Steve Bannon Democrat.
Yeah, he's like a Steve Bannon and Tucker Carlson Democrat. Like I swear he learned a lot from those two, especially what Tucker Carlson speaks a lot about, especially in this day and age of automation, the heart and soul of the Trump base, talking about the truck
The next
drivers.
industrial revolution that we're going through right now with automation, robotics.
What is that called? Does that have a term yet?
AI,
Yeah.
artificial intelligence.
Oh yeah, AI and I would just say we're in an era where there's it's another industrial revolution we're going
Like a
through right now.
cyber.
Yeah, it's
Cyber revolution.
it's the tech revolution.
Tech revolution,
And
yeah.
we're seeing the heart of it now. And and what's going to happen is you're seeing some of the implications because we're going around I went to my EMC later on a few weeks ago. They got rid of a lot of the clerks and everything. They put auto touch screen ordering. Yeah, and there was McDonald's down the street from me where they have that.
So you can thank the $15 minimum wage. Thank you, Democrats, for that.
Mm-hmm.
You can thank, and it's a push for replacing a lot of workers, right?
Yeah.
So the highest paying job for a high school graduate who don't have any kind of college degrees is truck driving. They make a lot of money going throughout the country.
Yeah,
It's not exactly a healthy.
Well, they make 70
livelihood,
to 80,000 a year.
That's
and
pretty good.
Yeah.
But if the same driver could be done by Google and you don't have to pay the, you could get rid of 50 workers and just have one technician for the AI. That's a lot of money for the corporations, but that's going to be terrible for the workforce when unemployment reaches 15 or 20%.
He doesn't have to sleep on the side of the road.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Yeah.
They work overtime.
They have
business.
No health insurance. No, if there's an accident, like someone gets injured, you don't have to do any
there's
time
4,000
off.
deaths from truck drivers. 4,000
Workers sometimes get pregnant, so there's no maternity leave.
Yeah. And these are the main jobs for about 15% of the country. That's millions of jobs.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's one of the most common jobs for the working class of America, and it's 15% of the nation. It's blue collar.
And more importantly, these truck drivers are bringing money to small towns. So when they stop over to a town, they spend their money there with the restaurants to eat or something. That's money for local economy. If those workers are no longer traveling or stopping there, that's money being sucked
and
out
then you
of
have
those
those other working class workers that rely on that. They're out of a job.
So if we remember our history from the Industrial Revolution, we had a lot of Marxists that came out of it. A lot of desperation from those times. The jobs were being replaced and things were changing as a society. We're going to see that again. And if you think things are bad now with the left, 15% unemployment is going to push it over.
And we really saw it with the Trump election in 2016 because where that's hitting hardest is in the Rust Belt. This blue-collar working industry where those guys, the rural areas, and these are the same. It's not just that. This is how you can win with the left, and certain figures in there is it's hurting the areas and rural areas like up in Winslow and also in Flint, Michigan. Those two groups are the same dynamic working class base that one put Obama in office and put Trump in office. Those are the base, and that's the silent majority that key to certain elections that you have to win. That's why Trump won so well, because he was talking to that voter every year. He wasn't talking tax cuts. He wasn't talking foreign policy in the Middle East with them. He was talking, oh yeah, you're feeling the pain of the changing economy right now. You're not going to up and go and learn the code. It was the coal miners that were hurting when you had people like Hillary and Jeff that saying, oh, it's just too bad. That's how the economy works, man. Good luck for you. Hey, maybe there's a little bit of welfare here. And that's...
So he is socially liberal, though. I mean, there are some things on there that we wouldn't like, but he is talking about a universal basic income, giving people $1,000 per month for just existing, kind of like what Alaska does with the oil money in Dubai and Norway. So it has been done before. He is talking about reforming welfare, getting rid of food stamps, getting rid of all the different social programs, and just having it so that you receive money and you know how to spend your own money best.
Wow.
And you said he's running as a Democrat?
He's running as a Democrat.
He's actually an independent.
Well, that's the shock, and that's because he was on Tucker Carlson 2-3 weeks ago, and a lot of everything he said was something Tucker Carlson was always covering time and time, and Steve Bannon because Steve Bannon was the one that was running it for Trump. Those same policies.
Candidate Trump really spoke about that.
And that's why it was so important, because what he's saying is the thing we've been saying to the Republicans and GOP. It's like, look, this is the base you need to get on and keep. These are the new heart and soul. They worry about their family. They're family oriented. They want what's best for their family. They want to keep that together.
Andrew Yang.
Andrew Yang. And it's just like, and the family is the pillar and core of American society. As long as the family is healthy, your society is going to be healthy.
The question really is now with the left, with their social justice and radical feminism, which he's against. They may not endorse him for just those reasons, but if they ever did, he would become a huge threat to Donald Trump.
Yeah, he's a dark horse candidate.
Yeah.
He's one of the guys that
a lot of people who have supported Trump before are talking about supporting Andrew Yang, just talking about switching parties for him.
Yeah.
So
and if you looked at the recent pollings, he's gone up big time, and a lot of, I don't know if you've been in like Facebook circles, you've seen it like going around in the circles, the memes, of course, but just the whole people looking at it, it's like, because the guy, when I looked at it, I thought, this is a joke, man.
I thought it was a meme too until I saw it.
Yeah, and then I saw it because,
interview.
yeah, and it's like, holy heck, this guy is at least not the, the psychopathic AOC talking about bringing in like a, Great Leap Forward nonsense in here.
The Green Revolution.
Yeah, and it's like this guy was just sitting there talking about the legit issues, talking about truck drivers and how it's like, yeah, I know they're typically socially conservative, but their family comes first. Putting food on the table is what concerns them most. They don't care about anything.
And see, that's what a successful Democratic candidate is going to do, like him.
Yeah,
is come and talk everything against what the Democrats are saying of socialism and everything, because they're all going in the same mantra. Even Biden and
he's different. Out of all of them.
They're all talking the same thing, and then you come with one that just like out of the box and tells everybody what they want to hear, just like Cinema. Cinema told everybody what they wanted to hear, and she won.
Yeah.
And now she's acting like a regular Democrat.
Right.
Well,
The same thing with this guy.
Same thing.
He'll come and he'll say what they want to hear. People are like, wow, this guy is just
great.
He's better than Trump. And
That's why they're saying. I think you have a valid point that he could.
and then he'll turn around and just screw everybody.
Well, that's why it's good, and that's why you're seeing, Trump wasn't liking getting criticism because, when he was at CPAC, he was talking like a freaking regular, like old school Mitt Romney Republican, talking about we need some amnesty, we need more foreign workers, we have other Republicans like around here in Arizona talking about gas taxes, food taxes on everyone else. And we're like, what the heck is
what
this?
What about the wall?
Yeah, where's my wall?
Yeah.
I didn't vote for this. I didn't vote for it to give Amazon and Bezos his tax cut. I voted for a wall. And even then, why
you
you
still have troops in Syria after you said you pull out?
That's exactly what.
Yeah, and that's why a lot of people were sitting there and criticizing him. And it's like, bro, that's why when Andrew Yang was coming, I was like, bro, that's a threat in the future. That guy, if he plays his cards right, and if he pulls like he did with like how Obama did in 2008, he played it perfectly. He knew it. Everyone didn't like Hillary, just like people on our side didn't like Jeb. He played it as a viable alternative and kept it straight, kept talking just to a normal Joe, kept it on a level ground, didn't talk like John McCain and his insane,
So you don't think
stuff.
you don't think he'll run in 2020, but he'll run in 2024?
He is running.
He's
running
now.
He's already made the numbers to get into the Democratic debates.
Yeah, and he's rising. So that's why it's like.
Because I watched you go over the experience.
I'll send you a link later.
I think just like you see Donald Trump, a lot of times people just want somebody different and somebody new.
We want results too.
Yeah.
You get tired and you see that person didn't work.
We'll take risks and we'll gamble
somebody
on someone.
new, a new face.
Right.
All these Democrats that are coming out, campaigning now, they're going to be nowhere. It's going to be someone new that hasn't emerged yet.
Oh yeah.
Like this person you're talking about.
Oh yeah.
They're going to plan it perfectly. The timing's got to be perfect.
And our party used to cater to this class. It was pretty much pre-1960s when, I hate to say it, that's when you got the neocons that came with our party. They used to be Wilsonian Democrats.
They're pro-war liberals.
Yes, they're pro-war liberals. They just didn't like all the weed smoking and all the other new left deal that was coming, that there was on the left. So they came here, and those people that we catered towards, that base, that working class base, went over to the left. The neocons came in and started talking about, regime change, how we got to put nation building, our taxes, the tax code, the jet tax,
deficits.
Yeah, they're running up the deficits and everything.
And that's, I wish we had time because that's another topic, the deficit. Are we 21 yet? It's 22 now.
22.
20.
It's 22.
Yeah.
Oh, it's still here.
$60,000 per person.
Yeah.
my goodness. That's you, right? I'll
I'll
die before you use
I've got something, but Katie Dexter.
Well, that's one thing, it's disappointing too. Because
Oh, yeah.
we're always gonna have it.
And we're gonna have to deal
always
with
gonna
it.
have And it's.
It's
right.
gonna blow up. The hot potato's gonna blow up in our hands, most likely. So
Yeah.
And that's gotta be made a bigger issue too.
Yeah.
It really
yeah,
has to be.
you can't. You're gonna leave your. You have to look at it and say, dude, you're gonna leave your kids off worse than you. Do you really want
That
that?
shouldn't be the plan.
Yeah.
It's not a conservative principle.
Yeah.
It's the opposite of conservative.
And everybody's gonna, they always say, okay, it's just people will not be comfortable. You don't want yours cut, you don't want your program cut. We're gonna have to do something.
Something.
Yes.
Change.
And,
Or we'll
and
break
let's
the country.
even it out. You know what? And again, you could defund Planned Parenthood very easy, and that's $500,000.
Right.
Which is,
Okay.
it seems like nothing in the realm of things, but when you're talking about killing new babies, it is.
Oh,
Okay, we have, oh yes, we did, we talked about this, Steve, we talked about Mr. Johnson, thank you very much. Again, rest in peace, Mr. Johnson. It looks like we're at the end of our show. I want to thank Lydia for coming in. Lydia Macias,
Thank you,
you're gonna
Lydia.
come back next week?
I'll try.
Okay, and it's an open invitation. And also our very special guests, Josh Bernard, Rick Thomas, who always have the chair here with us. We like to hear
Thanks.
from you. And, bring your other guys with us. Kevin has joined us before too.
We'll have to do like a meeting out on a Monday or something. Bring you to crew and have your show there.
We should do that.
Yeah.
We need to do that. What time is your meeting start?
6:30
Okay, so that's Monday, every Monday night?
every Monday. Right.
Okay, good. And that's where, what location?
That's in the BAC 201 Business Administration Building on the main campus in Tempe of ASU.
And is the parking lot across from there?
It's
Yeah.
just south of it, yeah,
Oh, okay.
on Lemon Street.
And it's free, right?
I wish.
tell her to Michael Crow.
It caps
Don't pay
off at
parking on the
$15.
We can carpool.
Yes.
gotta give that money to the Clinton Foundation one way.
Yeah. But, and I'm Alice Latta with.
Don Jorge, el alacrán.
We'll be back next Thursday, 7 p.m. here. Same Chipster channel on YouTube and Facebook. Thank you, Chipsters, for tuning in. George, did we forget anything? Did we talk about it? Thank you for dropping in, Steve.
We have Steve back there who just dropped in on his motorcycle.
Yep. So we'll see you again Thursday, 7 p.m. Walk on.
Walk on.
Guac.
It's going to shut us off now.
Yes. That article is hilarious.
I
I don't
should-
want to go to ASU.
I was
We're
going to read
victims.
that. but it was like,
Yeah.
that was
Just happens all the time.
There's
This
just
is at ASU?
No. She was trying to